My name is Perez Tigidam from touchportharcourt.com. I actually feel the sense of responsibility to respond to this because it falls, it's an issue that affects those that fall within my age demographics. I was particularly impressed when Governor Shomole was speaking because he was using some of the words I and my friends were using just a few days ago. I and two of my friends who are also here, we are discussing the whole issue of creation of jobs, unemployment, and using Rivers State in particular as an example. And we specifically spent some time analyzing and talking about the entire Trans-Amadi axis. I live around Trans-Amadi in Odili Road, and each time I pass there, I feel heartbroken because I see a lot of potentials, I see a lot of opportunities lying waste and lying bare. A lot of industries, and most times when we talk about things like this, we talk about banks, we talk about loans, we talk about some of these things. Some of those things seem like rocket science. We could look at easy things like manufacturing. It can create a whole lot of jobs. I know the richest Chinese man in Nigeria, what he does is import bathroom slippers. And in every household in Nigeria, you must find at least one. So imagine if we have something like that in Nigeria, or we have something like that in Rivers State, and we have, let's say, 5 industries focused on different things, what could possibly happen? So sometimes we cannot wait to rely on when government says all of this job employment process or skills acquisition. Skills acquisition is not a means of pulling somebody out of unemployment. I am from Ogoni, and I also want to look at if there's a global campaign going on now that says do agric. And if we look at the Ogoni axis, one of the easiest things we could do to avoid young people moving from that area into the urban city is to create job opportunities within what they have there. So if we are looking at Ogoni, Ogoni has a massive land at their disposal. And I must give it to the governor of Rivers State what he did in the area of agriculture, but I'm also not very satisfied with that in the sense of that project is not enough to create the kind of employment that is needed in that axis. Because if I am a young person and I want to go into agric, for example, the only opportunity left for me with what is there is to go be a laborer on that farm. And so what happens if I want to be an entrepreneur in the area of agric? How do I go about that? In fact, in some of the villages there might not even be roads out of that place. How do I get my fresh foods? How do I get some of my fresh produce out of that place to the urban city to be able to market and get access to those who will consume some of these things? So I think in area of talking about job employment and all of these things, we need to be very strategic in some of the policy instruments that we use, just like Governor Shomole said. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, I wouldn't have gotten up to speak. You can see age is beginning to tell on me. My waist is beginning to pain me, so I would have. When you begin to get to 50, you know that you will stop eating eba and all that, and eat more of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables from Ogoni land, like the gentleman said. What he did not tell you in here is that I've done most roads in Ogoni. Where is the gentleman that was speaking? I hope he didn't run away. You didn't tell them that I've done most roads in Ogoni, so if you want to transport your goods, you can transport your goods. Is that a lie? Because I have a commissioner of works from Ogoni. I asked him to give me the list of roads that we've done. In the whole of Rivers State, between Ogoni and the Che, we have done most roads. But that's not where I'm going to. I'm going to the fact that we have about 300 suits, cases, on 2,000 hectares of land, which we have already paid for. There's some human rights organization, NGO, NGC, underground GO. The landlords have been paid. Landlords are not in court. But all sorts of people are engineering. And we told our people, I am not a farmer. I don't want to farm. The reason for which I had to go into partnership with a foreign firm to establish the banana farm in Ogoni is to be able to create employment. You're an Ogoni man. By the time we came, your king was Solomon. And Solomon is a known militant who was kidnapping people. So when he's walking on the street, people are coming, elders were running away. And we asked ourselves, why was kidnapping too apparent in Ogoni areas? And we discovered this poverty. One day, I was driving with Senator Magnus Abe. We went to see King Giniwa, and I saw thatch houses. And I asked Magnus, for Christ's sake, why do we still have thatch houses in Ogoni, despite all this man did in Ogoni? What's his name? The late Sarawiwa. Because if you like, whether we like it or not, Ogoni has more educated people than any part of Rivers State. Ikwe people may have more lawyers and more doctors, but certainly not more educated than the Ogoni people, by the statistics we already have in government. But still the Ogoni people are impoverished. So I told him, he said it was the value of the land, that the land in Ikwere is more valuable than the land in Ogoni. So we began to take projects into Ogoni. We have the Songhai farm in Ogoni, and they're employing Ogoni people. We have the banana farm in Ogoni. To get land there, you have to battle, war. Biafra versus. And meanwhile, the essence of that is to employ people. 99% of those in the banana farm are from Ogoni. And when I spoke here earlier, I said the emphasis for me was initially the unskilled workers. Because those who are kidnapping were the unskilled workers. We can look for other means of hiring or creating jobs for the skilled. Now, we commenced what we call SME. But let's go first to microcredit. People don't like politicians. So we hired a professional, a former bank MD. His name is Victor Halliday. He's on Facebook abusing me every day. We hired him, gave him 2.5 billion for microcredit. By the time I knew it, he had sent me a memo that he has finished the process and is about to disburse. That I should bring 200 names. He has set aside, is it 50 million or 200 million for me, to bring whether 50 names or 200 names. And quickly, my antenna said, is this the process of microcredit? I'm not good in microcredit. I'm not an expert. So I called Mrs. Ifeko or Karu, and I said, you're an expert. Is this way to do microcredit? He said, no. This is giving out money to politicians or to the public. So I called him and said, stop. He stopped. I sent Ifeko for investigation. She went in. By the time she finished, Victor Halliday had blown 500 million out of the 2.5. Blown, not as credit. He didn't give it to anybody. He didn't give it to anybody. Himself. He did area for his wife. Bought generator for himself. But it's written report. I said, okay, this is scandalous. I don't want trouble. I don't mind whether we're alive or not. I removed him because the report said remove him from office. Why I'm saying this because he's talking nonsense on Facebook. So that the world can be hearing people who are abusing you, why they're abusing you. I said, Victor, you have blown 500 million belonging to the public. We will have given over 500 persons microcredit of 500 million. How many of our people went to borrow that 2.5 billion? The 2 billion is still there. I hear they are disbursing it every day. Now we're creating another SME. We have moved from microcredit to SME. So since you're looking for work, that SME is, what do you call it? Is it equity funding or what? Equity capital. Where we are setting aside 5 billion every year for 3 years for SMEs. So young man, be ready. They just passed the law and we'll set up the board. There is a need for we, the young people, to become entrepreneurial in nature. The essence is innovation. And that fund is for everybody in the world. It's not for only reversible. It's not Rivers State government money. Yes, it's Rivers State government we're lending to the group. And that, if anybody comes from Lagos and say, I want 1 billion naira, his only qualification is, let's see whether you have the capacity to create the jobs. And you must create it here in Rivers State. Here. Set up your company here in Rivers State. Come from America. Set the company up. We'll give you the money. Set up your company here. Employ as many persons as possible. The amount of money you get will be dependent on how much job you're able to create. That's what we're doing. So we believe that this job creation thing is not a government thing. Government responsibility in job creation is to create an economic environment that allows businesses to thrive. That's what we're supposed to do. So we're supposed to deal with the issue of power. That, for me, when it comes to job creation, power is essential. So while all of you may be talking about job creation, I talk about power, power, power. Because even education is power, even health is power, just like you're talking about water. That would be my contribution.